Hello YouTube vintage stereo collectors. This is the Electrohome model H19-303. This was out of the Circa series catalog. They made a lot under the Circa nameplate. There's the famous Circa 75, of course, which came out 67, 68. And they kind of, that name clung to their products along with plain art. Now this is an actual Electrohome made in Canada, designed in Canada. Later plain art receivers were actually Marantz's. They were Japanese and they were excellent products too. This one is so unique. It's almost ugly but beautiful, this styling. And I know this to be from 72, 73. And I'm telling you, there's nothing on the internet about it. If anybody has some actual documentation, it would be neat to see it. But I know I've run across a few of these in my 40 years of working on electronics. And anyway, so I picked this one up through a Kijiji ad locally in Kitchener. And it was from an estate. And I plugged it in, tried it out. It actually worked. It had a few crackles. Let me just turn it on here. It's got a really nice dial, kind of this drum style dial. And you move it like this. The pointer wasn't moving. The pointer had actually fallen inside. It's a plastic pointer with a plastic clip that the string goes through, and it was broken in half. So somebody may have run it right to the end and it snapped off. The bulbs were dead, so you couldn't even see it anyway. So I took it apart, put two number 47 bulbs in it. I didn't go I actually tried LEDs, and it was a little too blue, a little too intense, because you're actually looking in at the bulbs, and LEDs give me a headache if they're too bright. This here is kind of a neat thing. There's one number 47 bulb lighting these up, and it was actually, they didn't have it clipped down properly, so only this end was lit up. So it has FMS, FM, AM, tape, and phono. It has a magnetic phono input, speakers for two sets of speakers, sliding volume, treble, bass, balance. I can't actually, every time I play music on one of these through speakers like I used to do, I get a YouTube violation. So I'll tell you, this is really a nicely built unit. It's quasi-complementary. Almost every part of it, it has a hand-wired point-to-point power supply. It's got the magnetic phone preamp is on one board. The power amp is on another. All the tone controls and everything is hardwired here. Then the AM/FM tuners on the board here. And it's all like soldered with wire between, like, you know, point-to-point wiring terminal boards. But what's interesting is I put the bulbs in, sprayed all the controls, cleaned the unit down, and it works so well I'm not going to recap it. I checked the power supply electrolytics. They weren't leaky. It has vintage sprague, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave it, play it the way it is, and keep it all original. This really is a museum piece. I've gone to the Electrohome display at the Ken Sealing Museum in Kitchener. They don't have one of these. Now, I was in the Electrohome Museum at the Wellington Street plant over 20 years ago when they had a museum on site there, and they had one of these. I don't think it was this one, but I don't think these were made in big numbers, and they were hand assembled. Might have been on a slow moving assembly line, but there's so much point to point and so much soldering in this. The cost to manufacture this must have been twice what a comparable Japanese unit was in that day. So you can kind of see why they couldn't compete anymore. Like I said in the last video, they built them too good. But it's a really neat unit. I'm going to be selling it. I just don't have the room for all of them. So I take pictures and do some videos, and if anybody has some interesting information about these, just stick a comment on the YouTube video. Thanks for watching and listening.